This is a showcase of my single-player Quake level, the Temple. This is the first area that the player spawns into. It's got a couple grunts that introduces to the player the enemies and the mechanic of firing at them. There's a couple doors. There's that door that can be opened with the button, and then there's this other area here with more enemies. And the zombies get introduced here, as well as a rocket launcher, to teach the player that the zombies have to be killed with a rocket launcher and not a regular gun. In this area, there's a little platform that raises the player up here where there's some more pickups and access to this balcony in the tribute area, which the door with the other button in the entrance room also opens up into if the player decides to go that direction. Here's a battle with some scrags. There's some grunts on the other balcony up top that are firing down on the player as well. This is the tribute area. This is supposed to be, the theme of this area is more of a place of worship. So in the next iteration, I do plan to build out a statue to put on that center pillar. There is that balcony up there, which the player can access from the next room. Here's the ramp up to that balcony. I made it a little steeper of a ramp and like take it a little bit of difficulty since that room is a room of rest. There's no enemies in there. If the player doesn't kill the grunts may come down from the top at them, but I made that a little more difficult than easy just because this room is a place of rest. From that room, you get lowered down into the dungeon where there's some grunt guards and some scrag prisoners, as well as some crucified zombie prisoners. The scrags fire at you, and you can get into the cells with the crucified zombies, kind of as cover from the scrags' projectiles, as well as there are pickups there inside the zombies' cells. Since this is the dungeon and the next area leads straight into the labyrinth, the idea is that prisoners are stored here until they're put into the labyrinth to like be killed, as is kind of how the Minotaur's labyrinth in Greek mythology is said to have been used, and this level is very inspired by Greco-Roman templars with all the columns and this idea of a labyrinth. This is a little rest area that like the runners of the temple could watch prisoners fight it out, survive as long as they can. There's some pickups there that the player can get if they want. There's a secret door here. I did make all the doors in this level, even the secret ones, a different color so they stand out to me, the designer. But when I go through with the texturing pass, those green doors will blend in and fit the theme of a secret door and blending in like that rather than standing out like they do here. There's this first area of the labyrinth with a key to get out with some zombies. There's a little platforming puzzle for the player to get to that key. However, there is another way to get to that key if the player gets too frustrated with this platforming puzzle. There's a trigger just outside this room that triggers more enemies to keep coming at the player, so this room isn't as safe and the player has to watch out for those incoming enemies. If you go back up the stairs, here's this other way to get the key. There's these little rooms throughout the labyrinth with pickups, as well as enemies. Here's the first way to get to the door in the middle. There's 3 ways in total to get to this door. There's some more enemies that get triggered to come running at the player. Here's another little room with another path to the door. I put scrag guards in front of the door. Having a scrag there added more interest to the gameplay. And here's the end of the third way. There's this platform that raises the player out of the maze that you activate by this button. The player can look out across the maze. Then they're brought back into the worship area, and this big shambler comes out from the statue and attacks the player. There's these pillars could serve as cover from the shambler, as well as these little half cover things. That door at the back opens once the shambler is killed. You can't exit through that door. If the player were to come in through that door that first time, they would be locked in there. And once you get the gold key, you can exit through that door that showed at the beginning as needing the gold key, and you're let out.